JD Vance was supposed to be the future of MAGA, the heir apparent, the guy who was going to inherit the movement when Donald Trump finally leaves politics. But his odds of being the 2028 nominee are collapsing. And meanwhile, there's a new poll that has Congresswoman AOC leading on the Democratic side. So let's go through it. Let's start with the Republican side. JD Vance's chances have been slowly declining, while Marco Rubio is pushing close to Vance in the betting market odds. If you look at Kalshi 2028 Republican presidential nominee, you'll see that at one point, JD Vance's odds were as high as 56, almost 57%, with little Marco at only 9. And yet over time, we've seen Vance's odds decline to where it is now almost a tie. Vance with a 34% chance, according to the betting markets, of being the nominee in 2028, and Marco Rubio at 30%, with Tucker Carlson in third place, dear God, at 6.3%. You know that Trump is going to notice this, because something Trump cannot tolerate is weakness. He hates backing someone who looks like a loser or ends up losing. And JD Vance, as his chances decline, looks more and more like he could be a political liability for Donald Trump, not an asset, not the future of the movement. And for months, we've seen, Republicans and the right-wing media figures treat Vance like it's inevitable. It's going to be JD Vance. He's young, sort of. He's aggressive. He's totally loyal to Trump. He's willing to say just about anything to stay in Donald Trump's good graces. But then reality started setting in. And JD Vance gave more of these speeches, and we realized, wow, this guy lacks all charisma. And he did interviews, and we realized this guy has zero gravitas. He's stiff, he's overly rehearsed, and the energy of JD sounds kind of like we've looked at 6 anonymous Twitter accounts and synthesized a response. And it sort of sounds like the comment section of podcasts or something like that. And maybe the most important thing is that Trump, there's a lot of criticisms of Trump. Trump has an entertainment value that is an important factor in his political success. JD Vance is not entertaining at all. And I wish that politics didn't come down to entertainment.
But as a Democrat, this is what you want. Anybody associated with this administration is going to get destroyed. You don't want a new person. Somebody has new ideas and energy. You want to keep this administration the way it is. Because if JD Vance is running for president, that is 100% win as a Democrat. David was kind of throwing the Tucker Carlson thing to the side, like, it's nothing. I'll tell you one thing. If Tucker Carlson wins the primary and he's the Republican nominee, I almost can guarantee you he might be president because people like the way he talks. So we kind of need JD Vance to be the Republican nominee. Let's keep rooting this on because, he tried to fill up a show with Erica Kirk and it was a snooze factor. It's not. Nobody showed up, so they had to cancel. So this is what we want as a Democrat.
But especially on the Republican side, it kind of does. And so you see that self-destruction taking place. And for a long time, what's really interesting about seeing Marco Rubio surge is that in Trump world, Marco Rubio was the punchline to jokes for a very long time. The little Marco stuff, this guy's establishment, he's repeating the same thing over and over again on the debate stage. And Marco Rubio was humiliated by Trump in 2016. And now he's looking like a lot safer of a bet to a lot of Republicans. A lot of Republican donors are getting behind Marco Rubio as well. Rubio, you can say a lot of bad things about Marco Rubio, but he looks more polished on TV and he sounds more normal in interviews. And importantly, the donors and the insiders seem to see him as a potentially safer bet. So there is panic in MAGA world right now. It turns out that just because you're the most loyal to Trump, which I guess JD Vance is, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best shot. And in fact, we have evidence of that. DeSantis, for a while, was ultra loyal to Trump. Vivek Ramaswamy, for a while, was ultra loyal to Trump. And they were ultimately thrown by the wayside and kind of kicked out of MAGA world. And it is a very interesting thing to see as far as these numbers go. Trump is sensing weakness. There's blood in the water, and Trump is turning on them. Now, I want to raise one other possibility before we look at the Democratic side. There is also a realistic shot that Donald Trump will be so diminished politically. I don't mean cognitively, although he probably will. Trump may be so weak politically by the time it becomes the moment of the primary that his endorsement may not make a difference. And that could also alter the dynamics here. If Republicans lose badly in the midterms, for example, the economy stays weak, prices remain high, tariffs stay in place, scandals, the whole thing. Trump may simply lose the aura of being the decider. A lot of Trump's power.
This is what we want. We want Marco Rubio. We want all of these guys that are associated with Trump. This is what we want. This is 100% victory. You know, you don't want a young person. You don't want a guy that has a lot of energy, a lot of thoughts, a lot of new ways, new ideas. You know, he's an upgrade from what Trump is doing. You don't want that. You don't want a Tucker Carlson, you know, because Tucker Carlson will win the young vote. That is 100%. He's smart. He's kind of drifting towards more left-leaning, you know, ideas. He sounds different. You know, and now he can honestly say, you know what, I don't back Trump at all. I'm out on Trump. People are going to be like, you know what, we're out on Trump too. We need a new Republican, a new guy. So, no, let's keep rooting JD Vance, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz. We want all these guys because these guys are all associated with Donald Trump's administration, and that is a clown show.
Comes from the belief that he's unstoppable politically. He may be stoppable politically. Now let's talk about the Democratic side. There is one new poll that has AOC leading the 2028 primary. Most polls still have Gavin Newsom leading. But interestingly, if we look at the betting market numbers, again, this is Kalshi 2028 Democratic presidential nominee. Gavin Newsom's numbers have also declined. He peaked around 37% in early November. But Gavin Newsom has seen a steady decline in the odds that he becomes the nominee, going from about 37 all the way down to 23, 25 right now. One of the beneficiaries of this has been, to a degree, Kamala Harris. AOC hanging around 10%, but it is Kamala Harris that has gone from 5% also to about 10%. I'm just reporting here. Don't kill the messenger. I have indicated I don't think it would be a good idea for Kamala Harris to run again. If she wants to, she should. Voters should decide, get everybody into the pool, and then decide one by one they can be eliminated. But my personal opinion is I don't really have any level of excitement behind Kamala Harris running again. So on the Democratic side, what a few months ago seemed like Newsom absolutely has it, his odds have diminished. So that's where the primary stands today.
Yeah. On the Democratic side, you have all the leverage, all the momentum. You do not want Gavin Newsom, and you do not want Kamala Harris at all. We need somebody that's somebody that's slick, somebody that can hold an audience, somebody that's has a transcendent personality. We need a guy, like a real guy, like a Mondami type character. You know, somebody that's a slick talker, doesn't have, APAC donors that are donating to his political agendas, and we don't need none of that. We need a fresh start. Definitely not Gavin Newsom. I live in California. Gavin Newsom, yeah, he's a good-looking cat. He talks well, but there's something about him that sounds, I don't know. He just, especially because people blame him for gas prices and the cost of living in California. I don't think we want him. We need a new face. Kamala Harris, we've already seen that. She was attached to the Joe Biden administration. We definitely don't want to see that again. That was more of a Hail Mary. So, yeah, we need a fresh start, fresh person, young, you know, somebody that has a lot of energy and is just ready to go and has fresh ideas. These old characters, we need to get rid of them.